is advancing efforts to improve safety, quality, and efficiency in
Coincidentally,
manufacturing processes. The plan is emphasizing cross-functional teams and move-ready criteria to streamline production. Man, Andrew talks a lot about process and a lot about people, and this is where it's merging, and I think this is where it gets complicated. I mean, supply chain disruptions, of course, might mess things up. Labor shortages could mess things up. Lots of ways to hinder production stability. These improvements are, though, going to aim to restore Boeing's market position. I don't know if that's who I was talking about when I was talking about Airbus's competitor, but so hopefully we'll rebuild trust. That's their goal.
You're looking at improving safety, improving quality, improving efficiency, improving supply chain, all of these things. It's going to screaming to me, which means Andrew's going to disagree, that the number one challenge is making sure you've got all the requirements for how you're going to improve this stuff mapped out. What are we currently hitting? What do we need to do? How do we make sure we get these improvements to happen? And how does it impact our existing operations? So for me, the number one challenge here is figuring out what are our requirements?
Could be a bit potatoes on this one, because I think it's a really relevant point. But that's about it. It's just relevant. The biggest challenge isn't just defining what Boeing wants to hit. It's actually making sure they can actually deliver on it consistently with the mess their supply chain and workforce are in. You can have all the move ready criteria in the world, but if you're consistently battling supplier delays and an overworked, undertrained labor force, those targets are just really wishful thinking.
You can't hit a target if you don't know what you're aiming for. We don't want Boeing's success here to be a shot in the dark hinging on luck. We want it to be a projectile that's been precisely aimed. So when you improve safety, quality, efficiency, you've got to benchmark those improvements. You've got to know what you're measuring against, what you're measuring towards. The benchmarking requirements go hand in hand like a magician and his assistant. We're looking at cross-functional teams to help solve supply chain disruptions and labor shortages. You are looking at a clear case of requirements first.
Like they're a magic spell. Yeah. Define them and everything falls into place. The magician waves his wand. It's a bit like working with our software partners. I think leads just come out of thin air. Come on, we both know that without a stable supply chain and skilled labor to execute, Boeing's improvement plan is just another corporate initiative that looks good on a slide deck. Suppliers are all stretched thin, the parts are being delayed, and Boeing's workforce is under a lot of pressure right now. So the real issue is getting the right parts and the people in place consistently so they can actually stick to these improvement plans without them falling into the same old traps.
Are you the kind of guy that just built Legos by looking at the box and not the instructions?
No, I had a full supply chain management integration system underway with the Lego. We had some material planning and inventory management on the Lego as well, and it was all digitally connected in a thread.
You know what? I can just see little Andrew over there with his Lego conveyor belt, bringing the supply chain along. But
got your IoT devices linked into it all. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Having a stable supply chain is not going to solve all the problems if you don't know what all those problems are. So this really is, to get to our solution where we are going to hopefully be hand in hand here, you've got to have that marriage of the paper and the practice of the getting all these pieces together, but also knowing what we're moving towards with the whole requirements here. So let's let you start with some SCMI.
It's got to be a bit of supply chain management integration, hasn't it? Making sure you've got that real-time visibility across your supply chain, bit of digital twin stuff going on to monitor and predict your bottlenecks, and then obviously strengthen your supplier partnerships with shared KPIs. What else have I got? That's probably about it. Workforce optimization, actually, probably I'd have that going as well on your manufacturing operations. Make sure you've got a lean manufacturing principle to standardize your processes across your facilities and reduce your variability in production.
See you next week.